I
Yeah.
promise you, if you keep dieting, you get to six, like mark my words, keep going and we can talk later. You are going to just go down the spiral of hell. And I'm telling you, the best way to do it is just Coach Greg, and today I have with me Lance Stewart. He has over 6 million followers, which is incredible. And he's best known for doing pranks. Of all the thousands of pranks you've done, you've been doing them for years. Is there a most memorable one? And if so, why is it so memorable?
It's really hard for me to choose favorites, but I think one of my funniest pranks that I can date back to is when I would make Vine videos. There was this video very specifically where there's like this weight limit sign. It says weight limit 4 tons. And I'm in the car with my grandma and I'm like, you know what? Let me just see what happens. So I pull out my phone and I start recording. I'm like, Grandma, you got to get out of the car. And she's like, why? And I was like, there's a weight limit. And she's like, do I look 4 tons to you, you dickhead? And I don't know. That just sticks with me to this day. And I think it's really funny every time I watch it.
And so what makes you come up with these ideas? Like I've seen so many of your videos. Like how do you come up with the prank? Like do you watch other things? Do you get inspired in some way? Or is it just like off the top of your head, this will be a good idea?
It really depends. I've gotten ideas before from seeing other people's videos and I'll get like inspiration from it. I'm like, okay, this is a really funny idea, but how can I make it better? Of course, I don't want to completely copy somebody. I always want to add some type of value to it. But I'd say that's about half my videos. And then the other half are just really random ideas. I might see like a product, like I might see slime and be like, oh my God, what can I do with slime? This is so stupid, but I can do something with it. Or even like something as silly as a whoopee cushion. I know it's really an outplayed joke, but you can always take something that people have done and just make it 10 times better. So I always like to do that. So yeah, a lot of the times I'll be in the shower and just like a random idea will pop in my head. And I just think about how can I make a video out of this? So that's usually what happens.
Now, we spoke about the most memorable one, and there must be a lot that you regret that didn't go according to plan or went wrong, or maybe somebody got insulted or whatever. Is there one that pops out in your head, the worst prank that if you could go back, you're like, I would not do that again?
I'm going to be honest. Oh my God, I've made thousands of prank. Like I posted like well over 1,000 prank videos, but there's probably a couple hundred videos that like I either wasn't able to post because something happened. Maybe the prank just didn't go as planned, or it's just like a bad reaction, or something like bad happened like that. There is a video that I posted before. Probably the worst thing that's happened is like obviously probably doing public pranks. And that's why I stick to doing a lot of pranks on like family members or people that I know, because they don't get too out of hand where maybe somebody ends up like physically attacking you and trying to actually hurt you. So there was a time where my buddy and we were going around with a giant like cooler, and we were tricking people into thinking that there was stuff in the cooler. So we'd like run up on them really quick and like act like we're going to dump it on them. And, a lot of people get scared. So this one girl was sitting down and we did that to her. And she got pissed at first, but then she saw the camera, and I think that made her even more mad. And she started attacking my friend Chris, like literally like ripping on his shirt, scratching the hell out of his skin. It was pretty funny. But I do feel bad for my friend because he got like all scratched up. But there's times like where that happens, where people try to physically hurt you. So doing public pranks, I've kind of steered away from it over the past couple of years, especially because there have been a few times where I've recorded something and I posted it, and then I get like this I wouldn't say copyright claim, but I get like people don't want their face in it sometimes. They get pissed because you didn't blur your face, so they'll make like some type of claim with YouTube, and I get like my video threatened to be taken down, or somebody was trying to press charges. So especially when doing public pranks, and sometimes it could lead to stuff like that happening, and so I just try to avoid that.
Yeah, I've experienced the same thing, like just going out and filming. Like I film content. I'll go out to a restaurant and eating something. And sometimes they see the camera and they're like, you can't film this. You can't. I might be in it. I'm like, well, legally I can. But like, I mean, if you don't want to, it's not going to be bad. But like, you got to think about what are other people going to say or do. I mean, I'm out in Mexico on the beach recording, and people walk by and they're going to be in the video and they might think, well, you can't show me, but actually you can. But I mean, we're not going to try to like disrespect somebody. If they say like, no, I don't want to be in it, like it's really against what I want, then of course we'll respect your wishes.
Yeah, it really depends on the situation. Cause like I do, I used to do daily vlogs. I still do vlogs. That's like my main channel. So I have my prank content that I post on like TikTok, Instagram, and then like my other YouTube channel. But my main channel, which, I just post vlogs on daily. I used to vlog every single day. So I'm constantly bringing the camera around everywhere I go, whether it's restaurants, Walmart, it doesn't matter. So if I'm in Walmart, I'm recording myself and, the employee tells me that I can't record. There's been times where I'm like, well, I'm in a public spot, I should be able to record. I'm not doing pranks. I'm not like damaging property. I'm not doing anything wrong. So sometimes I'll argue those points and they get pissed off. But it just really depends on the certain situation, like what I'm in.
And you have over 6 million followers. I mean, I only have over 1 million, which is, I'm saying only, but it's a lot. And I mean, I get recognized like wherever I go. I'm thinking people must see you and be like, I've seen that guy, he does pranks. And so they can't really fall for it. Like, do you ever have problems with that? Like people are recognizing you, they know what's going on. Do people come up to you and say hi or well, explain to me what it's like to be like this famous?
All right. So I have 6 million on YouTube, which is crazy. And then like my TikTok, I have 22 million, which is even that's mind blowing. My Facebook's got like 10 mil. So there's a lot of people overall. I think combined, I got probably around like 50 million followers, but I've been doing this since I was 9 years old. So I'm 25 now, I'm about to be 26. So I've been doing this more than half my life. It's pretty insane. And obviously every year that I do this, it gets crazy and crazier with the amount of people that come up to me. When I was younger, probably about like, I don't even know, like 7-8 years ago, I'd go to the mall like every Friday and it was always mobs. And every single time I would go there, I'd have a few people come up to me and then it just causes like crowds. And then more and more people come up and it's just like absurd. There's people that won't even know who I am, but they're like trying to see who it is. And it just causes this huge mob. And almost all the time I would get kicked out. They're just like, look, you can't be here. I'm like, I'm just trying to go and shop. Like, I'm just trying to do my thing. I'm trying to live my life. So it's pretty crazy, but I do think it's really cool. It's definitely very interesting. It's something completely like absurd that probably most people don't get to experience. So it's definitely very cool. A lot of people ask me like if I regret this type of lifestyle, and I don't. There's nothing more than I would love to do than being able to make my own content, not have to listen to anybody, just do my own thing and be able to make a living off of it. And then on top of that, get recognition when I go out in public. I think that's really awesome. Sorry, what was the other question that you asked? I wanted to explain that first.
There was no other question as far as I know. Like, that's what I would just saying, like, is it weird to go out in public? Is it strange? Like, you're so famous. Do they not recognize you? Like, or do they recognize you? Is it hard to do a prank, or is it like anytime you go in public, they recognize you and you can't do a prank because it's like, well, everyone knows who you are. It'd be like if Howie Mandel went somewhere, it's Howie Mandel. Do you have to wear a disguise? Like, I mean, how do you blend in?
Yeah, so I actually made a video like that before, like wearing a disguise and seeing if people recognize me, and people still recognize me, which is hilarious. And it was a pretty absurd disguise. But so yeah, it does get harder, obviously, to do pranks in public. So that's why a lot of times I focus on like people around me that live near me, like maybe my family. I live literally right next door to my family. I bought the house next to them, so it's pretty funny. So I'm always able to make family content with them, and then yeah, I definitely had experiences before, and I've even recorded it where I'm shooting a prank and somebody recognizes me, and I just think it's a cool moment, so I leave it in there like, oh, you're the guy that does the pranks, or they know my name, and it's really cool. So it's definitely a weird life. I always dreamed of wanting this life when I was a kid, and to have it now is so surreal. And I think it's amazing. It's awesome. There's a lot of people that I know that get into this position where they grow a huge following and they hate it. Like, they'll go on public and they're like, oh my God, I hope I don't get recognized, or like walk with their head down. I'm just like, I get it at times. There are times where I'm like, okay, I have this plan. I need to go into the store and get this thing as soon as possible and leave. And, I try to like walk with my head down sometimes if I don't want to be recognized, or like if I don't want to be stopped, because obviously that is time consuming. If I'm on a rush or in a rush, I want to get things done. But majority of the time I stop, I take time out of my day. I talk to these people, and, it's really interesting meeting all these different people and, hearing their stories. And, sometimes they relate and they're like, oh, you know what, man, like, you've inspired me to do pranks. You've inspired me to go on a fitness journey. And like, I know I'm not the biggest guy out there, but there's a lot of people who've seen my, huge transformation of going chubby to lean to chubby to lean and back and forth. So I think it's really cool.
And speaking of your transformation, what is it that got you to diet this time? And you just mentioned you've been chubby, lean, and kind of you've gone back and forth. What is it that changed this time, and what makes you think that you'll be able to keep the weight off this time as opposed to the other times?
Yeah. So a little backstory. I've been lifting for about 9.5 years now. I started lifting when I was about probably like mid freshman year of high school. And I've always looked up to people like Arnold, of course. I used to watch some guy, and his name was like Ziz back in the day. I'm sure you
Oh,
know who he is.
absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Just like physique wise, I've always wanted that physique. He wasn't massive, but he looked great. He looked really good. He looked like juiced out of his brain. So I've always wanted that type of look. And I just busted my ass over the past couple of years. I lifted every single day. As I said in my video, I almost never take breaks. Over the past 9.5 years, I've probably like taken like 50 to 100 days max off from the gym. I go every single day. It's part of my lifestyle. If I feel like crap one day, like I'm starting to do my workout and I'm just like, oh, I'm just not feeling it today, I'll just go do an active rest day and I'll do cardio. There's a lot of the times where, I start off my workouts by warming up my shoulders. So I'll just get like a 5-pound, plate, and I'll just like do some little exercises. And I can literally tell how my entire workout's going to be based off that one small exercise. Like if it feels like super light, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a great day. If it feels like a little heavier, I'm like, oh, this might be a rough day, but I always try and push through as best as I can. So, like I said, I've been lifting for 9.5 years now. I have been at points where when I first started lifting, I was like the skinniest kid in my school. And I was like, oh my God, man, like I just can't put on weight for the hell of me. So I force fed myself for like a month straight. And I put on like 10 pounds of just probably fat. And I remember I was pretty weak at the time and my core strength wasn't great. So I'd go out to dinner and I'd stuff myself. And I walk out of the restaurant, like barely been able to like even pick myself up. I'm like leaning over the whole time. So that's like a memorable moment in my head when I was trying to put on weight. And then it got to the point where I got a little bit older and I felt like it was easier for me to put on weight, probably around like 21, 22 years old. I noticed it was a lot easier to put on fat. So at that point, I could gain weight, but I didn't know how to lose it. And luckily, I met somebody at the gym who I became friends with, and he taught me about dieting, properly dieting, because I would just eat everything and anything. I remember I'd go to the, after every workout, I'd grab like an acai bowl, and I didn't realize it was like 1,300 calories in every bowl. So I was just like stuffing my face every time. I just like wasn't getting proper nutrition either. So he taught me a lot about that. And then I got on his diet plan, which is basically in the morning, I have, eggs with egg whites and Ezekiel bread with like peanut butter on it. And I would do that. I would have that 2 times a day. I would have it morning and night. And then the other 3 meals, so I'd have 5 meals total. The other 3 meals were just turkey or ground turkey, broccoli, and rice. And I did that every single day for probably about 2.5, 3 months. And, I was getting crazy looking. I looked like shredded, but it wasn't sustainable because 1, I started hating what I was eating every day. And 2, I just felt like dead every single day. I felt like I wasn't taking enough fats. I felt like I wasn't taking enough carbs. At the time, I thought carbs were bad for you and fats were bad for you, which now I know that isn't the case. The way my diet's proportioned now is I can basically eat whatever the hell I want as long as it fits my macros and my calories. And, I do take in a lot of carbs now. I do take in a lot of fats. And I've realized, as long as I get at least like a gram of protein every day, that makes me feel satisfied. And, I just fill in the rest with carbs and fats. So yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. I've taken about, I'd say now on average about like 2,200 calories a day. There are some days like last night where I was like, just like, screw this, man. I just need like a satiating meal. So me and my girl, we used to love going to Applebee's all the time. We haven't been there in like 3 months. We're like, screw this. We went there. I had probably the lowest calorie thing that they have, which is like a Southwest chicken bowl. And I took some things off to make the calories even less. Ended up being like 670 calories. And it was very filling and it felt great to, eat something like that. I ate about 3,000 calories yesterday, but, I'll make up for it over the next coming weeks.
It sounds like a lot of people have gone through what you've had, like a lot of trial and error. They tried to lose weight. How many people lose weight the first time and they just keep it off? Pretty much people yo-yo diet for a while. They're up and down. At 21, you met a person, gave you a pretty good diet. However, it was a diet you couldn't stick to forever. It worked in a short time, but like the willpower ran out. What is it that's changed this time? Do you watch YouTube videos? Have you read some books? Is it just the experimenting? Like what has led to the point? Because like, right now, under 10% body fat, you have a body that most people have, 99% of people are not this lean. Trust me, under 10% body fat, it's rare, but 1 in 100 get to that level. So you might be underestimating just how hard it is, but what is it this time? Like, why is it working so well this time?
I think it's working well this time because I got to a point where I was trying to bulk up And when I bulk, I dirty bulk. Like I just eat McDonald's, I eat, Smoothie King, I eat bullshit. Like I just eat everything and anything. And I was easily taking in like at least over 6,000 calories a day. Like I can eat easily 2,000 calories in a meal. And it's sad, but it's true. Like I just ate an 1,800 calorie burrito the other day from Chipotle. And then I was like, I had basically no food for the rest of the day, which sucks. But, I think this time I got to my heaviest point, which was 183 pounds. And I'm pretty short. I'm 5'7", 183. For me, I feel like that's a lot. I don't consider myself huge, but I don't consider myself small. I have like a decent amount of muscle mass, especially lifting for 9 years. That to me, I looked at myself in the mirror every day. I'm like, damn, man, I looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy. I had like no tan. I was chubby. Like I just didn't like it. I had like rolls on the side. I felt like anytime I like crunch my back, I had like a roll. Like when I'd crunch to it, like roll over, it just felt nasty. So I just got my head out of my ass and I just started working my ass off. And, I knew somewhat how to track macros, but I deeply dived into it and, tried to figure out what my TDE was. I just started doing I started off doing 2,400 calories a day. I started losing weight and I'm like, okay, I'm losing weight, but I just feel like I'm shedding a lot of water weight. After like about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I plateaued. So I'm like, okay, I need to lower my calories even more. I woke up every morning at like 7 a.m. I started doing fasted cardio for half an hour. Then I'd come home and I'd eat. Then I'd go to the gym. I'd work out. I'd come home, eat again. Later that night, I'd do a second workout. Usually because I would do like maybe biceps in the morning and then back at night, right? I do like that bro split. A lot of people don't like that, but that's what I would do. So I was probably burning a lot of calories and I just kept doing that. And then obviously lifestyle changes. I've been dedicating basically my entire life for the past 3 months to just working out and trying to diet. I need to get my ass in a gear and start doing my work again. That's the thing with like social media. It is a blessing because there are times when you can take off and not have to post as much, but I don't like allowing myself to do that because I just feel like I'm going to get that feeling that like I'm going to fall off. It's a scary thing. So now I go to the gym once a day, but I'll just go there I'm there for like 2.5, 3 hours every day. But I do work out with like 2 friends. So like, doing workouts, it takes a little bit longer when you're with people, of course.
Yeah. And so what is your end goal? Because I mean, obviously you're already as lean as you need to be healthy. And you're like 5'7", you said really short. I'm 5'6.25", and you're about 150.
Yeah. I'm 151 right now.
Yeah. So people that are watching this guy you can see he's in good shape. 150 pounds, 5'7". He's taller than me. You don't have to weigh, because my fans, they think you got to weigh 200 pounds to have muscle. They think that you got to be that big. But look at what you can look like at 150.
I saw some comments on your comment section. I was going through and some guy was like, oh, he's 150 at 5'7". This is the physique that I don't want. Like he's too small. He has no muscle. And I'm like, look, dude, like, I know from personal experience, I go ape shit at the gym. I'm strong. There's people that are 2 times my size that are obviously roided and juiced out of their brains and they don't do the same weight as me, or they are doing the same weight as me. And I'm like, yo, this guy's 2 times bigger than me and I'm pushing as much weight as him on his last set. And I'm just like, you don't need to be this gigantic monster. Like, I feel like I like how I look. Obviously, I want to be bigger. That's why I go to the gym every day. I bust my ass for it. But like, I'd rather get there naturally and not have to cheat for it and then be just as strong as somebody half my size. It's silly. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with my physique. Obviously, I want to keep working harder and, bust my ass to get that.
I want to ask.
Oh, but my end goal, go ahead. Went over that question. End goal, my goal is to be at 6%. And I want to like maintain that. I know when you said in your video, that's going to be very hard to maintain. And like, if you would have told me that a couple of weeks ago, I would have been, I'm fine. Like I feel good right now. But dude, there are days where I just feel like complete shit. And the only times that I feel great are like when I'm about to go to the gym and I'm loaded up on caffeine, I'm loaded up on carbs. I'll do like 60 to 100 grams of carbs before I lift. Those are the times where I feel amazing. But throughout the day, I just feel like crap. So I don't know how long this can be maintainable. I definitely know, I can't wait to not be in a deficit and to be able to eat my maintenance, because I have an Apple Watch now and I know it's not completely 100% accurate, but I track my calories on here too. And, I track my steps and everything. And at the end of the day, it'll tell me, I'm about like 2,900 to like 3,000 calories burned. Some days are higher than others. Some days are lower, of course. But I like to use that as like, okay, when I do decide to eat my maintenance, maybe I can use my Apple Watch to figure out like, okay, you burned 3,000 calories today, but you only ate 2,400. Oh, if I want to go eat, like a 300 or 400 calorie, Chick-fil-A sandwich, I can, So it's going to be awesome knowing that like I can maintain what I have right now and be able to eat, more calories at the end of the day. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping I don't feel dead when I do that.
And honestly, what you're going through, it reminds me of when I used to compete in bodybuilding, and I would go through what you're going. You feel pretty good up to a certain point. Maybe for me, usually around 8%. And then every percent gets 10 times worse than the previous percent. So you think, oh, it's not that bad. I'll just suffer a little bit more. It is a living nightmare. I would suggest what you should do is to try competing one time, 6%. You can walk on stage, get in the board shorts, do the show one time, and put on your channel. People will want to see that. I'd absolutely have to watch and do a video on that. And you get to your goal, and then you might be thinking in your head, okay, now I'm just going to maintain this. And I'd say, no, there's a big, I don't know, you may not have heard of this, but I keep telling people you should gain rather than bulk and cut. You've spoken about dirty bulking, 6,000 calories, cutting. You're eating 2,000, 2,400 calories a day. It's not a lot of calories. If I was coaching you, for example, I would say, okay, after this competition, you get to 6. Why don't we try to focus at 10? Slowly gain back the weight, go to about 10%, and then eat at a maintenance level. Perhaps for you, it might be 2,900 calories. So rather than being in a deficit all the time, feeling weak, no energy, you're at 2,900. Your body fat's at 10. You're still friggin', honestly, to 99% of the world, that's peeled. And then slowly build muscle from there. Because if you try to maintain 6%, I'm telling you, naturally, you're not going to build muscle. You might wish you did, but the sad truth is it's excessively rare for anyone to be able to put on any muscle at 6%, have a life, have your test levels will go down at that level. You're not going to sleep as well, not as much energy, hard to push the weight. So I would recommend gaining a little bit of body fat back and then seeing how it goes from there. What do you think of that advice?
So I'm an extremist, man, with everything that I do, whether it comes to my work, bodybuilding, losing weight, it doesn't matter. I set these goals and I can't wait to reach them. So when I reach 6%, I just part of me is going to be I don't want to put on fat at all. And I definitely have body dysmorphia by dieting like this. So I look at myself and I swear if I put on a pound of fat or something, I'm going to look at myself and hate myself and want to go back down. And that's a big issue that I feel like I have. And I feel like I'm going to try and maintain it as long as I can. I definitely know I'm going to get to the point where I'm like, fuck this. And I'm just going to go have a couple cheeseburgers or something, then feel better about myself. But, it's okay to have those times. But I definitely do agree with you that every percent that I go down, it's really hard to, maintain it even more. I definitely feel like my sleep has been slacking a bit. And this is probably a definite contributing factor to that. I don't really know. I don't feel like I'm big enough to compete. I don't know. Maybe, obviously different weight classes and stuff. But like I said, I don't feel huge and I don't feel small. I feel like the average person that sees me is like, oh, he looks good. He works out. But he's not this fucking giant bodybuilder. So I don't know. Maybe that's a part of the reason why I don't want to compete. I think the reason I don't get down to 5-6% is just personal reasons. I've never been there. It's a goal to achieve, and I love doing things that I've never done before and being able to crush it. I've always told people, you can do whatever you want. You just have to focus on it, have a good mindset, and just don't give up. And you can do whatever you want in life. So this is just something that I'm proving to myself, and I guess other people as well, but more so for myself.
And honestly, your dedication, your mindset, everything I'm hearing is the mindset of a bodybuilder. You literally sound like me. You're I'm going to the gym 2.5 hours a day, most days, sometimes twice a day and all this stuff. And you're I don't want to gain that body fat. And you're saying, body dysmorphia, I'd feel kind of bad. That's what most bodybuilders sound like. So what it sounds like, the only thing holding you back really is that you don't think you're big enough. But here's why. You're looking at all the social media pictures, guys who are on steroids, pro bodybuilders, massive monsters, and you're thinking the non-tested, but they have drug-tested competitions where people like yourself could enter, and guys that are my size are not in it. When I first started competing, I competed at 142 pounds. My first national championship that I won was 149. You're 151. So I wasn't actually that much bigger than you, but once you're shredded like 6%, which is what I would have been back then, and you have all the tan and the oil and you're dehydrated, the whole thing, and you're on stage, you're going to look massive, especially compared to other natural bodybuilders. And it's in men's physique. And no, you probably won't be the biggest guy and you might not win the whole show, but you're certainly going to look great. And it's a personal goal. It's not about, like, technically bodybuilding for me, it's not about beating other people. It's about beating myself. As long as I look better than last time, so exciting. So you're 9, 8, 7, 6%. You get on the stage. Who cares if there's a guy that's bigger than you that's next to you? Even if they're on steroids, who cares? You look the best you can. You've achieved your goal. And then after that, you slowly gain that weight back. You don't want to gain it overnight. You go on a bulk, because then that mindset, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror, gain 10 pounds of fat, and you're like, I look like shit now. Meanwhile, everyone else thinks you look great. It's only yourself that thinks you look bad, because you're so used to seeing that 6% on the stage with the 10. You slowly gain the weight back. Your body will get used to it. It'll adjust, and then you'll look better. Then you do that for a year. You keep training, gaining at 10, 15, whatever percent. And then next year you compete again, or 2 years later. And then you go from, say you weighed 140 at the first show, the next time you're 145. And that's the journey of bodybuilding. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I could consider. Let me see how lean I get. I'm definitely focused and trying to get that low. So the way I measure my body fat, like, obviously I'm not going to get a DEXA scan, but I do it at home measurements. I have calipers, and I also do the measurements. I do like my abdominal, I do my neck, and then I get, I put in my weight and my height into like the calculator or whatever online. And both times that I do that, whether I'm doing the caliper or, the calculator method, it tells me I'm about like 7.5, 8% right now, which I don't know how accurate that is. I remember, it's obviously a lot easier for you to think that you're lower body fat than you really are. In the video, you said that I was like 12 and I thought I was like 9 at the time. I actually think you were more accurate than I was. I think now truly I'm around like 8%, because my abs are always popping. I feel great when I look at myself in the mirror. Whenever I take my shirt off, they're always, bulging out, which is great. It's crazy that you said that about 6%, that like it's hard for somebody to maintain and grow, because maybe it just depends on the person, right? I have a buddy who, I've been friends with for the past like 5 years. And, even before he started lifting like 3-4 years ago, and even before that, he was always walking around super lean. He must have been like 6, 7, 8% then, but now he's still like 6%. We did the calipers and the other method on him the other day. He's 6%. And, I think he's just active all the time. He's just always, his work, he walks a lot. He's doing a lot of like physical labor, and then he goes and works out. I think it's a lot harder for shorter guys, because obviously your maintenance is going to be a lot lower in calories. So he is like 6'2", and he's just walking around 6% all day. And I'm like, bro, how are you not tired? He's like, I just don't feel tired. And I'm like, well, do you eat a lot? He's like, honestly, not really. And I like figured out his TDE, and it's like 3,200 calories. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. Like, he's probably eating like 2,500 a day, and he just doesn't feel dead at all. But he's still growing. He's still getting bigger. So it's not impossible to grow. Obviously, he'd probably make a lot better gains if he was eating more, but I still think it's possible to grow. I just maybe not as quick, right?
Yeah, it really comes down to genetics. Certain people have born with more fat cells. So if you're a guy with, like, say, I don't know, let's call a random number, 1 trillion fat cells, and somebody else has 500 million, well, you're going to find it harder to stay lean because you have more fat cells than that person. Yeah. More ghrelin, more hunger hormones. So we're all born to be at a certain weight. And some people, they actually, like I said, 10% for you, you could gain at, some it's 15. I've coached people they start at 60, 70% body fat, like, 400 pounds. Yeah. They get down to 30%. They have absolutely no energy. They can't even survive at a healthy, like, mentally, physically, 30% body fat. They're still obese, but they just can't lose more weight because they feel like absolute garbage. Like, they feel miserable at that weight. So it's just that genetics. So this example, that guy probably just born to be lean, but I would argue, as you just did, probably would make bigger gains if he ate a bit more. He's at 6. If he got up to 9, 10, maybe he would have 10 pounds more muscle on his frame. And you got to think, he's only been training 3 or 4 years. He has newbie gains. He's going to grow. I mean, if you start fairly lean, you're of course going to be able to build muscle, but you've been training for close to 10 years, I believe. Yeah. And if you drop your body fat too far below its genetic set point, that's going to be when it's hard. But you'll find out if you're at 6% and you have energy, you're getting good pumps in the gym, you find you're doing well, then no problem. But like you're saying now, I feel great when I have the pre-workout and I get hyped up for the gym. That's the body. When I'm on a diet, the only time I feel good is like on the stims and I had the pre-workout meal and it's like good. The rest, it's like,
Bro, I'm drinking energy drinks right now. Listen, I've started doing this and I never felt like I never felt like I had to do this before, but like I would only take, a stimulant if I'm going to go work out. Now I wake up in the morning. I'm like, dude, I'm not the type of person who drinks coffee, but like, I just need an energy drink just to feel like my breakfast is the biggest meal of my day, right? I have an 800 calorie breakfast almost every morning. I have like 80 grams of carbs at least, and I still feel tired. I'm like, dude, I just want to keep eating. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to keep eating. I'm just going to like hold myself over with like an energy drink. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I just lost my train of thought with that, but go ahead. What were you saying?
That is where it starts. I've lived your life. I'm 46 years old. I've lived your life. That's how it starts. I used to have no coffee. Then I started getting into every day. Then I was like taking in close to a gram of caffeine every day. And then you need even more for your pre-workout because you're taking caffeine before. I said, finally, I said, to hell with it. I went on a month detox. I had absolutely no caffeine for a month. It felt weird at first. I didn't have the energy. I mean, I needed my 2 cups of coffee in the morning to make my YouTube videos just to feel energetic.
Yeah.
After that month, I swear I took 3/4 of a scoop of pre-workout and I felt like I was on something. I was like, I'm on drugs right now. It was just caffeine. I felt like, oh my goodness. Now I'll drink 1 can of pop that has caffeine in it. It's always diet pop, and everything else on my pop, it's caffeine free. And I have 1 scoop of pre-workout and that's it for stims. And I'm raging to go.
You feel great.
Yes.
So it's hilarious. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. But when you're on a diet and you're not eating enough, that is how you're going to feel for life. And it's going to get worse. I promise you, if you keep dieting, you get to 6, like mark my words, keep going and we can talk later. You are going to just go down the spiral of hell. And I'm telling you, the best way to do it is just accept and love this look that you have right now and try to build muscle. But I mean, if you want to get down to 6%, just like for that, just to say I did it, because I can tell you're that kind of guy, like you just want to take on that challenge, go for it, but don't try to keep it forever. That's the mistake some people make.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm definitely going to try and get down. And I think I'm going to try to maintain between 6 and 8. I think right now I look amazing. I definitely go into the gym and I'm like, wow, dude, there's like maybe 1 or 2 other guys in here that are as lean as me. I just feel like that 0.001 of the population. It's insane. And I love that feeling. It's just like, it makes me feel so much better about myself. And like my confidence levels raised. Obviously my confidence levels were shit when I was 183 pounds. I just looked at myself, damn, bro, I just feel like terrible about myself. And it doesn't matter how much good shit you have going for you in your life. If you just look at yourself and you're unhappy with like how you look personally, it's just like, it just completely kills your confidence.